Hey there, SimplySuperDave coming at you with another episode of trying to stay super in this crazy world with SimplySuperDave. That's really not the title, just staying super. We're just trying to stay super. That's all we're trying to do, right? One way to do that is faking it. I'm just going to get to the point, folks. I get it. You're fake. You're fake. You're fake. You're fake. You know, whenever I'm around someone that's fake, my initial instinct is that I want to call them out, or I just want to say something snarky and, go after them. That's my instinct. And that's not staying super, is it? No, that's just wanting to be an asshole. And why? Is because I'm projecting myself onto somebody because I want to take it out. You know, we all deal with anger different ways, right? And one way that happens to us all is we will be provoked to say something that we don't mean to say, or something we want to say, but once you say it, you realize it was a mistake, no matter how true it really is. Now, let's dive into that, because that's where the fakeness needs to come in. So when I see a fake person now, as I'm older, I guess it's sadly, you can't accomplish this feat until you get older, I guess. I would love for young people to be able to, I wished I could have picked up on it a long time ago. When people are being fake, they're doing their best to be nice. And that's what we're trying to do, right, folks? Who wants to go out there and be an asshole? A lot of people embrace that. I see that bravado a lot kicked around on Facebook and Twitter. Mess with me, you'll mess with the worst. You know, everybody is a badass. Ooh, emotionally, they could take it all. But then you find them in moments where they're breaking down and their lives are falling apart and they can't handle it. Well, where is that bravado that was just there a day ago? You see what I'm saying? I'm saying there's a little bit of all of that in us, okay? But when we go out and we feel like because we've been victimized so much our lives that we're entitled to be this arrogant asshole for a day or for a moment. Because sometimes it only takes a moment to change an entire relationship with somebody. It really does. Think about that. You can spend an eternity with someone, right? And in 1 second, 10 seconds, whatever it takes for you to make one statement could change all of that. Just like that. Now, granted, we all have ties to people, so we always want to maintain that relationship because we all realize that we're not going to meet people that we agree with. Everybody, we're going to have some disagreement. No matter how good friends we may become, there is going to be an issue where we disagree on it. Period, you know. And we may always talk about it, but as good friends, you never let that disrupt, respect between the two of you. Ever. Because once you disrespect somebody, you are crossing a line. And you don't realize it that no matter how right you may be, because of the disrespect that you are showing, you are wrong. Period. And I don't see how people don't understand that. Because it's the way you do things that are just important as the point you're trying to make. Do things the wrong way, and it just makes the point mute. Like nobody gives a fuck about your opinion or what happened to cause what you did. But what you did was so horrible, there is no excuse for it. There may be a reason. Everybody has a reason. Reasoning. Raisins. Wouldn't mind having some raisins. That's the old person in me talking, I'm sorry. I don't like prunes, but I do like raisins. But yeah, sometimes you can make a mistake, and it doesn't matter what the reason or what culminated to cause you to be that way in that moment, or how you just are. You have to realize you're in the wrong. And that is a problem you have, and not everybody else. We don't walk around with billboards on our heads. So nobody knows what's going on with anybody else. That's why the old proverb of treat someone else like you would want to be treated comes from. Because we all don't want to be treated like assholes, do we? But yet we act like assholes because we feel entitled somehow, because we make up some fucking reason in our heads, and then we expect everybody else to be just as knowledgeable about our lives that we are. And that, all that arrogance combats one itself. You know, it really causes a lot of problems among us. And to see that entitlement, no matter what the topic or the situation or whatever is being disputed or, conflicted at that point in time, it's the way we need to be fake to one another that can save the day. So for the first time, I thought I would never be able to do a podcast or actually speak out on pro-fakeness. But pro-fakeness needs to be a thing that we need to start teaching to one another and practicing a little bit. Bite the tongue, all right? There's times where you have to defend yourself. But if you're the aggressor in any situation, you're just in the wrong, period. I understand when people flip out on other people because they were flipped out on first, what you call the rebound flip. The rebound flip is always supported by no matter what party is watching. It's like watching a movie and you see two people. You have no idea the history between them. You see an argument. Normal. Yada-da, da-da-da, oh, da. Okay. And then one just flips out on the other. Okay. Regardless of what they're flipping out about, their way they demean the other person, whether they call them names out loud or even get physical, like slap them or push them, or just you can feel that energy when it happens. You see it happen and you feel like there's something you must do. You got to get involved or not, or shouldn't you? When you're forced to make that decision, you feel the energy of the moment. That's all I'm saying. Regardless if you get involved or you don't. The point is you feel that decision run through your brain as you're watching that happen. That is the energy that moment is given off to you. And that's the reaction we feel in movies. For instance, I shared a clip, one of the greatest movie clips of all time, I think, at least in modern day cinema, would be in Endgame, with Avengers Endgame. Yes, I'm going to a Marvel movie. But the culmination of the story, I use that word a lot, a culmination, of Captain America's storyline to that point in that movie, at the end, fighting Thanos, picking up Georgia. Oh, I can't even say George. I can't say it because I can picture it. I'm forced to say it now, right? Anyway, Thor's hammer. He picks up Thor's fucking hammer and Majori. See, I can't fucking say it now. It's because I'm visualizing and trying too hard. Maybe at the end of the podcast I'll just blurt it out because that's kind of how I do things. But Majori. Nah, anyway, Major, I can't say it. All right. Anyway, when he picks up that hammer, I mean, that was a movie moment. Everybody in the audience. I mean, you just felt the electricity run through everybody. And that's from a moment on a screen. That's not even an organic moment. And you could feel that energy and it just floods everybody. And even if you didn't know what was going on, you're like, this is a major fucking moment. You know, you knew it. And so that's how you feel when you see like people get in an altercation. But once, even if the person you're supporting in the argument, if you heard it, flipped out in an unreasonable manner, automatically, whatever they were fighting for, it doesn't matter. All you know is that this needs to stop. You're not trying to settle the dispute. You're not trying to say who's right or wrong. You're just saying it has crossed a line. And if neither one of those people can realize it, yes, somebody needs to step in. Someone needs to be in there as fake as fuck, talking about how everybody needs to get along and shit. And then you have the mass crowd of people around that just pulls out their phones, hoping to catch a viral moment. Now there is the toxicity in our society. The silent majority that would rather benefit from such a horrible moment between two people. Now, the reason why I bring up the outside of the argument, the two people, the society around them, is because we live in this internet age where things happen and they don't tend to stay in the moment. Now everything has a way of being digitally processed. For instance, me talking about this in this podcast, for example, the fakeness that needs to be out there. Because it's not about being fake, it's about being respectful. I think we have been brainwashed that fake kind of washes out. Media has made that such a popular thing that art imitates life, life imitates art. If you don't believe me in anything else I say to you, believe me in this, that anything you see happen in movies and TV happens in real life. There is nothing that's, you're like Star Wars. Look, at this point, if you're not watching the shit on the news, then you don't, come on. Art imitates life, life imitates art. That's how it's always worked, and that's how it always will be. And you can see a lot of the signs right there for you, okay? And one thing they do through media is they brainwash people to feel a certain way. They want you, like I talked earlier, the little bravado of I'm the baddest motherfucker on the planet emotionally. You unleash a storm when you unleash, you know what I'm talking about. I've even shared those things before because I felt them in the moment when I was scrolling, and because the phone can read my fucking brain and it knows what I need to see or feel or see, and there's plenty of podcasts about that issue, folks. Go back and catch out the AI issues that we talked about. That shit's real. It's happening right now in front of you while you're listening to this podcast. Your little apple of knowledge in your hand. Haven't referred to the apple of knowledge in a while, but if you've listened to the podcast, you know that. For sure, though, we need to be a little bit more fake, because what fake is been taught to us is the anti-respect that we should have. That's right. That bravado, that egotistical feeling of never being fake, always being the real you, raw and uncensored, doesn't make society work very well. It just causes more friction and division among us. Personally, and all the way to the very core of the family, like there is no hierarchy, and there has to be in a home. There has to be a chain of command in every situation, because there's going to be situations that are always unprepared. Just life is like that. Life does not have a schedule. Life is going to come at you, and you got to be quick on your feet. And someone who's quick on their feet and knows what's going on, and there's got to be a leader, and there's got to be a co-leader. Everybody relies on one another. One can't do it by themselves. It's always a team effort, Well, one can do that by himself, but once you get into a group setting, you got to have a hierarchy. I want to just catch myself there. But yeah, so the fact is that instead of the word respect, or hearing that in a movie once in a while, which I love it when I hear that word, but it rarely do I do, but I hear a lot of you're being fake. I hear that, I got to be woke. And so catching the fakeness, no one needs to be fake. Yeah, you do. You need to be fake. You need to be fake about everything, because no one's entitled to know all these things about you, and not everybody will, and that entitlement of walking out there and wearing your problems on your sleeve, taking it out on the world because you're entitled, does not make you the good guy ever, and so if you're going to stay super, folks, you're going to have to learn to be a little fake and grit through the moments, because honestly, the payoff of going through being fake is great, because let's just change the word fake to respect. Going out there and being respectful to people, that's how we all make it. That's how we support one another. Going out there and being hateful to one another because I had a problem this morning, or I got a problem in my life, and the next thing you know, you're just creating more of that. Like it doesn't solve a problem, it creates a problem. It amazes me. It really does. So, yeah, I'm pro fake now. I'm pro fake. I think we need to be more fake with one another. I think we need to be more respectful to care when we don't really want to care, because maybe at the end game, you'll find out the best moment is there waiting for you. And that this feels pretty good. That it ends up not being fake. Because all it is just respect. Look, if enemies on a battlefield can have respect for one another while trying to kill one another, then I think that we can have conversations in this country where, you know what I'm saying? Where we can be respectful to one another. So let's try being fake and have conversations and find the love and laughter that's hidden in the hate and fear that we're all so afraid of. Be a conqueror, don't be a victim. I'll catch you on the other side.